Fierce fighting continues in the Syrian town of Adra on the outskirts of Damascus as the army tries to push rebel forces from several districts. An investigation carried out by RT discovered the mass execution of civilians carried out by al-Qaeda-linked groups. Survivors described horrific scenes of brutal executions and of people being used as human shields. Our colleagues from RT's Arabic channel spoke to an eyewitness of the massacre.
RT sources in the military say radical Islamist fighters entered the town of Adra and massacred local civilians. According to the latest figures, at least 80 people were killed in the districts which the Syrian army has now liberated. Entire families were killed, other families were kidnapped and are being used as human shields in the battle against government forces.
Militants from Jabhat al-Nusra and the Army of Islam seized control of all the streets and crossroads very quickly. The situation became terrible. There were killings, outrage and fear. Unidentified armed men came to the city. They carried out the slaughter. The worst thing in their crime was when they shoved people in the bakers' ovens. They kidnapped people, and many were beaten.
RT sources in the military also say that some of the kidnapped families have been transferred to areas south of the town. They're now being held in strategically important zones, which the rebels have been using as a base of operations. These places are heavily fortified. Sources also say the total death toll in Adra may in fact increase, because the Syrian army has not yet liberated the entire town.
Geopolitical analyst Patrick Henningsen told RT that events in Adra show that Western encouragement of rebel forces only delaying any hope of peace in Syria.
If there is any Western governments that want to have any dialogue or engage in any dialogue with these groups, these are the same Western governments that saying that we don't talk to terrorists, we don't negotiate with terrorists. And here, just the mere idea of wanting to include the radical Islamic elements into the conversation and for the future of Syria is ridiculous, just on the basis of Western policy over the last 20 or 30 years. It doesn't make any sense at all. What it does, though, indicate is that there is involvement, absolutely, by Western intelligence agencies that do have links to some of these radical jihadist groups, and that has been proven throughout history and is also the case today. The first thing that needs to happen for any peace talks to succeed is the Western governments cannot be involved in any way, shape, or form, either through proxies or through their intelligence agencies or third parties, with arming, financing, equipping, giving aid of any kind to the Syrian opposition.